Let's take you to our Abuja studios for some more stories. Here's Linda Akiwe. Hello, Linda.
Hello, Millicent. Good to see you and welcome to Abuja. The Federal Ministry of Health has issued a travel advisory to Nigerians following the spread of the coronavirus in many parts of the world. After the first Federal Executive Council meeting for 2020, the Minister of Health, Mr. Osagi Ohanire, told State House correspondents that people planning to travel from Nigeria to China or any of the affected countries should hold on till further notice. He also asked those arriving from such countries with no visible symptoms to self-isolate for 2 weeks, while airlines have a duty to report any incidents of passengers falling sick during flights.
As the first Federal Executive Council meeting for 2020 holds, the ministers, after hours of deliberation, briefed State House correspondents on their presentations to Council, beginning with the Minister of Transport on measures to eliminate racketeering in train stations.
900 million naira for the automated fare collection system is purely a software solution, and then what people refer to as e-ticketing.
President Muhammadu Buhari from
Nigeria's Attorney General says the country is expecting the repatriation of looted funds.
$321 million expected to be repatriated is attached to Abacha and is named Abacha Loot.
Special projects unit of the
Mr. Fashola gives a rundown of projects executed by the Ministry of Works and Housing.
The mandate was that FEMA should deliver in excess of 2,000 kilometers of maintenance, aggregated maintenance of roadwork nationwide. FEMA has done 2,075.24 kilometers.
The first is that
Then the Minister of Health issues a travel advisory for Nigerians following the spread of the deadly coronavirus.
all Nigerians and all persons from Nigeria intending to travel to China should delay their travel plans until further notice. All persons arriving from China or any country that has a major outbreak is advised, if they have no symptoms at all, to self-isolate, meaning that they stay indoors in their homes for at least 2 weeks. And if they develop any symptoms, like cough, catarrh, sneezing, breathing difficulties within this period, to report to the nearest health facility.
Though the Minister of Health says he has no statistics of the number of people returning to the country from China after the Lunar New Year celebrations, the conditions of return will apply to anyone despite their nationality coming into Nigeria from China or any country where the coronavirus outbreak is recorded. Kayla Megwa, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, the federal government has assured Nigerians of strict surveillance at the major international airports in the country to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. At the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, the Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, says the efforts to keep corona at bay is a collaboration between several agencies. Our next report chronicles surveillance activities at 3 international airports in the country.
This is the arrival wing where the screening is being done for passengers who are coming in from outside the country. I would be speaking now with the health port work officer who will be telling us how exactly the screening is being done. Sir, can you tell us exactly how the screening is being done on your passengers?
Passenger arrive from the aircraft, they pass through this gate for screening, and we stop them there. One after the other, they will be coming to show themselves to the camera. And the camera will show their temperature, one after the other. If it is normal, we allow the person to go. And if it is too high, if it is high, we stop him we excuse him to a holding area, we call it.
Bukola is at the departure hall of the Murtala Mohammed Airport in Lagos.
At the moment, I'm within the departure hall of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, where quite a number of passengers are making their way out of the country. But authorities here still tell us that the screening is ongoing. The terminal manager here tells us that the situation is still the same and they have no record of any infected person.
Port Health are being on top of their game. They have all the instruments, the gadgets they are using to determine whether somebody is infected or not. So we are all working together. In fact, on Friday, there is going to be a meeting. We want to brainstorm again to at least see what each and every one of us is doing and to make sure that we don't leave any lapses.
Now to Abuja, where the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport is also one of the 5 points of entry where the coronavirus screening is ongoing. The Minister of Aviation takes our crew around the surveillance facility, explaining that collaboration is key in ensuring that the virus is checked at the point of entry.
It's not for Ministry of Aviation or Health alone. It's a collective partnership between the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Aviation, police, hospitals, community, family leaders, and so on and so forth. So and the individual himself.
We're working with the state governments to sensitize the community, their communities and health facilities, so that when people see these symptoms that are akin to what we're talking, the outbreak, the coronavirus outbreak, they will report, or we also encourage people to self-report if they have been to affected areas or they've had contact with people who have been to affected areas.
The authorities say they have also put in place isolation facilities for any case that may arise in the country. Bukola Joe Oketumbi, Channels Television News.
And that's all from Abuja. Back to you, Millicent.
Thank you, Linda. Now, more on the coronavirus outbreak. Officials of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, they've shut down Panda supermarkets located in the Jabi and Gwarimpa areas of the Federal Capital Territory. The Director General of the Commission, Mr. Babatunde Irukera, who led officials of the Commission to the stores, says they made the discovery during a surprise inspection. According to him, the seafood sold by the supermarket were imported illegally from China and could pose a threat to the lives of Nigerians.
The fear of the outbreak of coronavirus in Wuhan, China, has left many countries seeking alternatives on how to contain the disease. Officials of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission have taken steps to protect Nigerians against the deadly virus. The revelation here is quite shocking.
There were all kinds of products, especially animal products, that certainly haven't passed through the normal channels for them to make it into the market. And this is very disturbing, especially at a time like this. And we understand that these products are coming from Asia and China specifically. And as you probably know, the biggest issue internationally now is the coronavirus. And there's sufficient information to show that this started out as animal-to-animal transfers and now animal-to-human beings, especially wild animals. And the origin of it is in Hunan, which is a seafood district in China.
From the seafood section to the groceries department, the situation is the same. A further search by officials of the commissions reveals an unhealthy storage for most of the food items sold. Next stop is the Panda store in Gwarimpa. The situation is awful.
Are you going to come with me or do you want them to come get you?
But this staff of the supermarket will not answer any of the questions posed to him. The Director General speaks on why they have to take him away.
We've seen some of the meat products that are compromised from the other supermarket. We've also seen them here. They have refused to answer questions because we have questions for them about the supply chain and how they import these contraband products. They have refused to answer our questions. Their claim is that they do not understand English language. And so we'll be providing Chinese or Mandarin translators so that we can progress this investigation accordingly.
Hopefully, this will help protect the health of Nigerians and also protect them against consumer rights abuses.
Now, what about Nigeria's economic outlook for 2020? Well, we have that story and more. Here's Anne Waldo with business news.
Banking so easy, so simple. Dial *894# now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Thank you, Millicent. Welcome to Business News. The Lagos State government says that it has issued 100 billion naira Series 3 bond under 500 billion naira bond issuance program. The state governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who made this known at the Deloitte 2020 Economic Outlook in Lagos, says the bond, which was offered through book building, recorded an oversubscription of 196.5%. According to him, the proceeds from the bond will be issued to executive key infrastructure projects. Lagos is the first state among the 36 states in the country to raise infrastructure bond this year under the new lower interest rate environment at the capital market. Players in the private sector have been assured that the Finance Act of 2019 is designed to bring positive changes to businesses in Nigeria. And this is coming from the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, while she was explaining the provisions and objectives of the bill during the 2020 edition of Deloitte in Dialogue, Nigeria Economic Outlook. The minister allayed fears that the act is only meant to enhance revenue generation through tax increase.
To sleep or cope with what... The annual Deloitte Dialogue on Nigeria's Economic Outlook provides players in various industries with insight into the country's economic direction for the year, while positioning for growth in the period. This year's event focuses on Nigeria's fiscal landscape, as well as other initiatives that are likely to shape the business environment in 2020.
It's quite profound for us to look at the fact that we've even been able to pass, for the first time in a long while, the budget early in the year. And this comes also with the Finance Act assented to by the President. This in itself provides an opportunity for business to properly plan and prepare for the future.
Think of the startup tech space as...
The conference takes a leap as lead speakers make presentations, identifying levers the country can pull to attain sustainable growth.
Income tax act is in 1979.
More importantly, participants want to understand the Finance Act 2019, seek clarification on issues emerging from its provisions and the impact on businesses.
This finance bill has increased the VAT by 50% from 5% to 7.5%. But there are 97 other provisions, 90% of them positive for businesses, that are in this finance bill.
The Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, also takes to the podium to explain the progress made in rail infrastructure and limitations to its effectiveness.
We have finished Kaduna-Abuja rail. Not one cargo. We've moved from 300 passengers a day to 3,700 passengers a day. And the same infrastructures that were built for the 300 passengers are the same infrastructures we're still using up to today.
The discourse features panel sessions with captains of industry and public policy makers, providing depth to earlier presentations.
The key word for us is dialogue. And we think this is one way that we can contribute to the conversation around taking Nigeria to the destination of our dream.
The conversation does not end here. Deloitte hopes to leverage on its access to MDAs and other government agencies to ensure action points collated from here are implemented.
Let's head to the stock market. It has ended and extended its loss for the third consecutive session with a bigger drop as profit-taking continues to take its toll on high-value stocks. Ekaite Afie has the details.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. The bearish sentiment seen at the stock market since the beginning of the week continued today as the all-share index shed 0.91% on the back of losses from MTN Nigeria and some banks. 3 out of the 5 major sectors we tracked closed the day in the negative, with insurance down 2.79%, banking lost 1.26%, and industrial goods trimmed 0.18%. Shares of Zenith Bank, Unilever, and GT Bank were the most traded for the day. Total turnover turnover of volume and value of shares traded today were lower compared to Tuesday's session, as 242.75 million shares worth 5.59 billion naira changed hands in 3,556 transactions. Lisaco Assurance tops a list of 10 gainers by 7.69%, while BOC Gases lost the most out of 18 stocks by 9.09%. And that's the stock market report. I'm Ekaite Afia.
Thank you, Kaite. Mixed sentiments have trailed some of the world's leading stock markets at the close of trade today. U.S. Federal Reserves are holding interest rates steady, while investors are still trying to shake off concerns over the ravaging coronavirus. Here are the snapshots of today's figures. And that's Business News Tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Anne Nwawodo. The rest of the news at 10 continues now with Millicent.
Banking, so easy, so simple. Dial star 894 hash now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Thank you, Anne. Still ahead on the news at 10. European Union Parliament votes to ratify Brexit withdrawal deal. That's from our London studios and around the world in 5+. Dominic Thiem stuns world number Rafael Nadal in a sensational 4-set victory to reach the Australian Open semi-finals. That's in sports news. Please stay with us.